So my group works at the interface between chemistry, biology, and materials. We're really interested in how those three things can combine together to solve problems of global importance in lots of different areas. And what I mean by that interface is in particular that we're interested in how we can grow polymers from the surface of biological molecules, cells and tissues. In the therapeutic space, protein-polymer conjugates, as they're called, are an established big business. Around $15 billion a year of sales of protein-based drugs that are coated with polymers in some way. We're really interested in the next generation of those. But there are some things that are in the way, some barriers that are in the way, and those are the things that we and our colleagues here and around the country are really working on. To predict is the first thing. So when we make these things, we're very good at making them, but we don't always know what the result's going to be. So we're very interested in how we can use computers to put together the polymer and the protein inside a computer and study how it might move, how it might influence the activity and the functionality of that protein. By doing that, we can then decide what it is that we want to make by screening molecules inside a computer, so we don't have to waste weeks, months, years making things that would never work. Instead, we can test everything inside a computer, decide what we want to make. So that's the first big area where there are big barriers that we have to overcome, is in prediction. The next one is what I would call synthesis. And in the synthesis space, we're learning all the time how to do a better job at making these kinds of next generation protein polymers. And then the last big barrier to utilization before these things are really utilized broadly is what I would call characterization. So it turns out it's really quite difficult to figure out what you did make. So when you start growing polymers from the surface of proteins, the techniques that you could use to study polymers don't work because you got the protein there, and the techniques that you've got to study the protein don't work because you got the polymer there. So we're working very hard to try and figure out all the different ways that we can piece together the puzzle so that we understand exactly what the properties of these molecules are, what we've made, and how effective they are.